Ladies and gentlemen, we have some kind of cool news. And one of which is going to be a response to, if you guys remember previously, there was the 2x pack issue. Okay, so Plarium went out and made a response to the 2x issue of if you buy, then there was a visual glitch showing it was 2 for 1. It was actually 1 for 1. They responded to that. I'm going to show you that response as well. On top of it, we have a Champion Chase tournament coming. Now that the 2x is over in 8 hours, the Champion Chase tournament is coming. It's been a while since we've had one of those. So we have that coming up. We have a few other things going on as well, as there's some beta testing available for like 3v3 Tag Arena and some kind of other cool type of things that are going on. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about all of that on today's video. So sit back, relax, have a drink, and enjoy. Here we go. Okay, getting right into it. First things first here, Valkyrie went up and said here regarding the whole visual bug in the X2 offers thing. Again, we are very, very sorry it happened. We just sent the promised compensation for you. Everyone who purchased a 2-for-1 pack during that time will be 2 packs on top of the purchase 1. We're sorry for the error. We'd like to thank everybody for their understanding and patience. So this is admittedly a pretty good comment. They were, the next day they got to it, and they gave you 2-for-1 on top of the one you already had. So if you purchased the $100 pack, you got a $300 value. I think that this is a very good way of immediately coming to grips with this issue and doing an apology. Hopefully everyone got this compensation, and I'm quite happy with this response personally. I think this is fine. It's a very bummer of an error that happened, but the next day they got to it right away and sent out the compensation. So I think that that's a good timing. They got it back quickly, so appreciation there. Now moving on to Valkyrie here. She mentions this is really cool. This is kind of another cool thing going on. To be honest, there are a few encouraging things seen here, which is that the 3v3 Tag Arena that they're working on here, they're selecting people to kind of beta test this one first. Now, I like this idea personally because we have had a significant amount of glitches in previous. I mean, heck, the one I just read before was a glitch, right? In previous releases, contents, whatever, there seems to be a lot of glitches. I think beta testing is something good. The only thing I would be, if I'm going to be a pessimist, once again, the only thing I would be worried about slightly is if one, this will delay content release more when it comes into the game, and B, are we the first lines of testing? Now, I'm curious. I don't have information as far as how their actual office works when it comes to testing. That's something they don't really talk about very much. So I am not aware whether or not they do really anything testing at all beyond just kind of the general devs making sure that things work. I don't know if there's a player test group. I've never heard of one. I haven't got leaks from anybody telling me there's a player test group. Most of the time I get any information from anybody that's kind of on the inside there. It's just a dev build or something is what I see a picture of. And I don't like showing dev builds and stuff on the channel because really I'm not trying to milk every little picture or whatever I get sent for a video. Instead, what I'm trying to do is kind of just put my opinion on the major stuff that comes out there. And I think this is cool. I think the fact that some people are getting a chance to test it is a nice addition, and we'll be able to see the bugs before it gets released in the game, which in my personal opinion is crucial to the longevity of the game, making sure there's not a whole lot of issues when they come out, like crunching your characters randomly. Speaking of crunching your characters randomly, actually, before we get into that, let's talk about the stipulations here. The Android, in case you're wondering, it's closed currently. They've already got it, but what they did is they allowed Android users to take part in the beta testing. They took 1,000 applicants that were affected as testers, which will be added. I'm not sure if I applied to with a Samsung tablet, but I don't know if I got picked or not. I want to draw your attention to make sure in order to test the build, we need to remove the game from your device completely for the test period. So if you were selected, make sure you completely delete the game because you have to put on kind of a dev build. We'll copy your accounts on the test build for your own convenience. Important, all resources you get while playing on the test build will not be duplicated in the production account. So if you get an account and it's full of all kinds of goodies for testing reasons, that's obviously not your main account. It's what they're saying here. The test will last 2 days, which is nice. It's short, to the point. It's not multiple weeks of testing. I like that time period. Hopefully we get some good testers in there, and there'll be a checklist of things you need to start. Of course, there will be bonuses for your diligence, meaning hopefully people are going to be getting rewarded for this, is what it sounds like. This was the form where you could have filled it out, and now the application form has been closed. They've took over 2,000 applicants, and I guess they selected 1,000 here. And that's as far as the information goes on that. Okay, moving on to the next piece of information here is going to be the in-game tournaments. Now, if you look here, this is another topic of some contention, but to be honest, it's not that big of a deal for me. The Champion Chase tournament goes live in 9 hours. I haven't heard anything about bonus rewards or legendaries or anything like that. You know, in addition to this one, probably just another couple epic books and some gems. I will say, I really wish they would bring back the Champion Chase when the 2X is there, but everyone's already talked about that. I don't really need to go into that too much. But what I really, really wish they would do is bring back the legendary rewards for Champion Chase first place finishes. This is only something that applies to whales like myself or large people who are going to be just straight up buying first place in the tournaments. And I'm sure they would make money off this. I'm not really sure why they took Ray. Like the first time when Ray was a legendary, I did the Champion Chase and wasted way more resources than was worth it to get a duplicate Ray because I wanted to try Longbeard plus duplicate Ray. I think there's other people out there like myself that would dump way more money than we should trying to get the free legendaries from the Champion Chase. So I really hope we will come back to that idea that we had circled around for a bit with Lysandra and Ray and all these legendary rewards, because I think that was really nice and was actually the type of rewards we want, especially since the Relentless is out. Things like this Ice Golem tournament, if this, for instance, was, let's say, 15,000 points, which I know is absolutely atrocious, okay? But if it was 15,000 points and you got like a Skull Crusher or something, where some people who are not free to play, but maybe bought the $20 energy pack or something, they could be grinding for these days, desperately trying to get, I mean, they could maybe get to it. You know what I mean? Where it's like a high effort, but everyone can get to where they're not competing. Then the first place reward is maybe like, you know, Valkyrie, Martyr, Ray, Lysandra, Arbiter, whatever, right? Some kind of good legendary. Gives people a reason who are small spenders to become larger spenders if they have something like a Skull Crusher or, you know, any tier epic of that range, maybe a Tayrail over here where his epic book is as a higher count, then it would be worth it. I was kind of upset with the rare tournament because the point count was so high in exchange just for a legendary book. The rare dragon tournament would have been another wonderful time to implement the legendary reward as well. If we have a tournament with limitations, but the reward is a character, it would have made a lot more sense. And I actually didn't think about this at the time I was talking about the rare dragon tournament, which is unfortunate because it probably was a better suggestion than the ones I've thought of the time. So in my personal opinion, this is the way we should go with it. I think we should start giving epics to free-to-play / small spenders or people who are free-to-play that want to spend $20 or $30 but haven't found a reason to yet so they can get themselves a couple decent epics. After playing through multiple accounts, I don't think a couple decent epics is game-changing. I pulled Madame Sylar Bellower, you know, right off the bat, right, on like my second free-to-play account. And that is hilariously lucky. Okay, but I'm still having trouble clearing the campaign, and it's not like I can climb through Arena just for free because there's billions of these inactive legendary teams down there that are hard to climb. That's a real problem. And you can see that in things like the Affinity Cup or, you know, the Rush Challenge and all these other challenges these content creators have been doing with themselves because they can see that in the arena, it's not always quite so easy. I mean, even though some of these guys were able to post some decent champions. And that's kind of a bummer for people who are newer. The other part is what I'm realizing is there's a very large level of learning that needs to come into the game. And by the time they've learned that, they will have already committed a lot of resources into bad characters. Like if you look at my champions, and you go back here, I've crunched more or less all the bad characters I've leveled at this point. Anything that was to like 5-star that was a bad character, I've used as a chicken by now. But a lot of people will have 5-starred character, you know, like, look, I got an Iron Clan, you know, or you know, War Maiden, people like that, and they will have maxed these characters out. We were just on stream the other day talking about someone who had 6-starred the War Maiden because it was one of the characters, you know, they started with. And a lot of people don't have access to very many characters at all. And it would be nice to have a chance to get it. Now, the other argument to this point is it could be way too difficult. Like, hey, DM, you're saying, okay, people that don't have good champions, and now they have to get 15,000 points in Ice Golem. That's probably a pretty stupid idea. There's truth to that, sure, okay? So it would need balancing. You'd have to figure out. But really what I think is that we need to start getting some middle level or at least some somewhat decent epics, rares in the hands of the people who are having trouble with the game or unenjoyability because of their pose or something. I think we could use some kind of way to help encourage the newer players to stay with the game instead of joining, not really enjoying themselves, being a little confused, pulling a couple bad characters, learning the investment in bad characters. It'd be nice if we had something always going in the tournaments that whenever a new player joins, they have something to go for. Granted, there's the new tournament beginner tournaments, which are actually pretty good because you can get like an ancient shard or something in there. But maybe if we could throw in like a low level epic for them, maybe like a faceless or just some, you know what I mean? Just some kind of like okay level character would be really nice. Granted, you can do some of the fusions. So if you need like a low level like okay character, you could go in and say like, well, they could fuse the rosin or try to get some of these characters, you know, fuse these. But these are not good characters enough to the point where I would really say it's what you want to do. We're looking for Payrail, Skull Crusher. A Steel Skull at this point is actually not as good as it used to be because Frozen Bands use a better poisoner. And Steel Skull would be a great addition to a lot of people's rosters. So that's just my suggestion for this point. Maybe we could get something, you know, some more epics for the people in the tournaments. Maybe something like the Champion Chase tournament where they open some green shards or, you know, I don't know. I'll leave that to you guys. But it would be really nice to get some epics in the hands of newer players is what I'm going to say here. So for this update today, pretty good, actually. I kind of like it. The beta testing's good. The compensation response was quick and good. I liked that. Nicely done. So yeah, positive update for today. It's just kind of a news one today. My girlfriend's going to be here in about a half hour or an hour or so. I got to go clean the house. So you might not see me on the live stream today. But, you know, if not, I'll be on tomorrow. All right, I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next video.